In my spriting moments of amateur automotive YouTube journalism, I had to remember the words of an actual automotive journalist who once told me, before you go and judge a car and give it a scathing review, just remember simply what it was built for. That's a very good point, but it got me thinking, what the heck is this? And by this, I of course mean sports sedans. A car that I think puts two completely contradictory ideas with each other. On one end, you have a nice four-door family car that can bring everyone along, and on the other, a sports machine. And that just doesn't sound like a match made in heaven. What I mean by that is when you often hear of a car that tries to put these two ideas together, they tend to be confused as to what they are, and then they end up with a scathing review. But at the same time, some of the most well-renowned cars are exactly these. I'm talking AMGs, BMW M series cars. This here is a Holden Commodore SS with etc. badges. The main thing to know about this car is two particular things. 6-litre V8 pushing power to the rear wheels. Now the thing that doesn't particularly flow well with me is that you try and get all these sporting, cool aesthetics into a family car, and family cars just aren't meant to be cool, but for some reason these performance variants are. If I could go more into this for just a little second, the Commodore is Australia's staple of a car. We love it. But the SS here is meant to be a performance car of what is really Australia's Toyota Camry, aside from the Toyota Camry. So why has this become the wonderful icon it is amongst a bunch of sports sedans that are very similar? I've had to sit down and think about it, and I've put it down to a couple of things. I'm going to start by not talking about the car, but more so about the kind of person that would want a car like this. Let's put this into perspective. The ideal garage for someone with any sort of liking towards cars would be simply this. You have your one car that is simply a daily, it can carry a lot of stuff, can go anywhere, do it comfortably and quietly in a refined sort of manner, and then your other car is purely a sports car. Lightweight, perky little engine. The reality is, not a lot of people are in the position to own two cars. I mean, owning one car is an absolute privilege. Consider yourself lucky if you have one. And that's where a sports sedan really comes into its own field. And it might not be perfect at anything per se, but it can at least do something about it. In this, you've got a giant boot. You fit anything in there. If that's not enough space, chuck on a trailer. These come with a tow bar as well. Still not enough room for roof racks. I mean, it's insane. These things can do everything. And as I'm saying this, I'm just really understanding the convergence between a really high performance engine and this kind of stuff. And I think to explain that, we're going to have to go for a drive. So, what I mean is when you're carrying a bunch of stuff, you're obviously going to need a lot of power to haul that around, and just your average little 4-pot, for the sake of example, isn't going to be able to cope with too much before it becomes a bit of a burden on its performance. This kind of thing, it's so much instant power and torque, and it just handles everything, and I think that is going to really help you out. And then, hey, you're on a day where you don't need it, whatever, you're the king of the highway. You've got all that power hauling nowhere near as much. Otherwise, if you do need a bit of stress relief and get that bit of sportiness out of it, just put your foot down, have a bit of fun. I mean, seriously, it's that good in any application. But I think another very important aspect, and sorry if I get very specific to this car, is what it means to the people that drive it. And I'm going to link this to the Australian Touring Car Championship, and that this car is one of the heroes of that championship. And the most incredible thing is the cars that you see on the track are the ones that you can buy. But at the same time, this is the exact point that got me thinking about the points of these cars anymore, because that's kind of being removed. You know, back in the day, the race cars had number plates. They could drive from race to race. They were real road cars. I think that's a bit of magic that's lost in today. But there is a particular magic about this car, and that simply is it's so accommodating to everyone. I mean, it's got 5 seats and 4 doors, just a big welcome to everyone. You know what? I'm going to put this to you. Sports cars are selfish. You know what? They're all about you and you only. Even a passenger is a compromise to you, detrimental to your weight savings. This car, 4 doors,
5 seats. It's just a big invitation to everyone. It wants everyone to have a part of it and bring everyone together. So that's what the kind of drivers do as well. And I think with that, it really just encapsulates what it's all about. A sports sedan is just a big, friendly giant. If you could make this kind of car a person, it would be your best friend. And that is something really special. Does anything. So there it is, sports sedans. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll do a specific video to this car next, so stay tuned for that. It should be good. Well done, car.